Remember this line from Jaws?
Vessel went down in 12 minutes. Didn't see the first shark for about half an hour. Tiger, 13-footer, you know that when you're in the water, Chief? You tell by looking from the dorsal to the tail.
That story is no work of fiction. The character is based on survivors like Verlin Fortin, who goes by Buzz. He was on the USS Indianapolis when it was sunk by Japanese torpedoes in the Pacific in 1945. They had just completed a top-secret mission, delivering the atomic bomb that would be dropped on Hiroshima days later.
Of the 1,197 men that were on board that ship, 880 perished. 317 would survive. Of those men, 69 years ago, 36 remain. And Buzz is one of them.
Fortin lost his ability to speak after a stroke in February, so his son-in-law, Greg DiGiovanni, tells his story now, this time to friends and family gathered on the 69th anniversary of the sinking.
That night, as luck would have it, he traded places with somebody, and he went on the deck of the ship where he was sleeping. If he had stayed down below, he would have been one of the casualties when the torpedo hit.
The ship's SOS signal was ignored. The 900 men who weren't killed in the explosion floated in the water for 5 days.
No water, no food, sores from the sea, exhaustion from treading water and just trying to hang on. And of course, the worst thing about it was, as soon as they went into the sea that evening, sharks came around, and they said most of the men really lost their lives from the sharks attacking them. Most of them were able to get together in groups, and that kind of held off some of the sharks a bit. But any individual that would swim out alone would be eaten by the sharks.
Fortin held on to a potato crate, which caused a gaping wound on his side.
We asked him, how did you do this for 4 days? What motivated you? And what he had told us was he was thinking of his future wife.
After 4 days, a plane on a reconnaissance mission happened to spot the men. Fortin was pulled from his potato crate the next day. After a few months in the hospital, he went home to Burbank and built his family, who joined him for the celebration at his retirement home near San Bernardino. He married the woman who he had thought of in those 5 days. Their 3 children all have children and grandchildren of their own now. Buzz didn't speak of his ordeal for years. He finally opened up to his family with all the details shortly before his stroke.
You don't call a person a hero maybe that happened to be at the wrong place at the wrong time, but he is. I mean, to survive that kind of ordeal and be part of a piece of history that will live forever, I think is a hell of a legacy.
Katie Schoolov, KPBS News.